Thank you. That's a beautiful question. Yes, of course. Shchunat Shapira, by the way, is a very interesting case because there it's very built in. The people who are I go there if you haven't been to Tel Chobez. It's in a neighborhood that's very Mizrahi and older, and a lot, and it's of course run a lot by younger people who are newer to the neighborhood. But if you go to the shuk where the people use their liro to buy food, you see everyone. And one of the things that the people who are most involved in the program are so enthusiastic about is that this is something that in a really authentic way brings everyone together, which is of course a big part of their ideal. They're deeply aware of and involved in the social rifts within the city. And so the answer to that is yes. And as far as the city, this conception of community that guides everything to such a remarkable degree is a really robust one. So that some of the programs involve, there are environmental programs built around bringing together old people and young people and kids in elementary school or kindergarten to have a community garden together and bring them together. And it's true in it's true in every divide that you can imagine. So when they built Park Kiryat Sefer, they had this series of meetings between the Haredim who live in the neighborhood, who were concerned that all the water elements they were putting in the park would make young kids take off all their clothes, and they didn't want to see naked people around all the time. So they had a series of meetings between Haredim and the naked people, and the parents of the naked people. So as a regulative ideal, it's very, very prominent. How successful it is something, never successful enough, I would say, but the idea behind it and the fact that it is this value of all being together. And the last thing I'll say, having gone on too long, is just that after October 7th, all of this changed, all of this became even more intense, the commitment to bringing people together and the connection between environmental policy and all the chamalim in the city, and making sure that the south of the city, making sure it's religious and secular people, Mizrahim and Ashkenazim, that was on the top of everyone's mind.
I think maybe it's more asking for a clarification rather than whatever. When you were talking about this curriculum for environmentalism and you were comparing North America, talking in terms, environmentalism in terms of rights as opposed to community, were you suggesting that this Tel Aviv model is, its communal values are rooted in Zionism, it's a Jewish ethic, or you could even venture to say, for a city that is predominantly secular, it's a substitute for religion? In other words, religion in the sense of religare, like bring people together, Durkheim, whatever.
That is a beautiful question because it, I think, points to a weakness in what I presented, and I'm sorry I didn't have time to. I was under the misconception that we had 1.5 times the amount of time that I had. But one of the things that I left out is all these sharing institutions which are proliferating in the city hugely, these libraries of tools and toys. And I was at the opening of one about a month and a half ago, and I leaned over to the guy in the city who's responsible for all this, and I said, this is just a gemach. If we go like 6 kilometers in that direction towards Bnei Brak, you'll see these things all over. And he said, of course it's a gemach. Of course this is, and one of the reasons why these things work so well is because this is a deeply held value that people have. But I could never say that. Like the key to making this successful is that it is always only spoken about in secular terms. That otherwise immediately people would object, but what they're responding to is a deep Zionist value. And I said, Zionist value or Jewish value? And he said, yes.